So Hulk Hogan passed away this morning, and it's kind of sad, man. Especially if you're a wrestling fan, if you into wrestling, if you notice in my videos, every video I post, and it's crazy. Just today, I have a shirt on. I post in a wrestling shirt every day, even though I don't talk about wrestling on here. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I got pictures with Cody Rhodes. I went to WrestleMania 28. I went to WrestleMania 30. Is that the right one? I was at Miami and I was in New Orleans. I was in Miami when John Cena and Rock fought for the first time. I was 19 years old when I went to that in 2012. I was in the arena in attendance in New Orleans. Brock Lesnar defeated The Undertaker to, break his streak at WrestleMania. So wrestling to me is something that, even though I don't watch it now, being an older person, 32 years old, every single Monday because I'm working, I'm out in the real world now. I still stay in tune. I still got memories. I'm still in that world. I'm still a huge fan of it. I still know what's going on for the most part. So if you know Hulk Hogan and you growed up watching wrestling as a kid, then Hulk Hogan to the younger generation back then when I was coming up is the same thing that John Cena is today. To just make it all make sense. Because I know some people, younger people especially, a lot of young people don't know who Hulk Hogan is. So you're gonna see a lot of people sharing his um, pictures and stuff like that and making news coverage, videos, and just talking about it and just doing things in his honor and respect. And sometimes, the young generation will lack respect because they lack the sense of knowing things and knowing history. So not getting into history and deep details, I'll just say, if you're a wrestling fan now and you know who John Cena is and the Seth Rollins, the Rhea Ripleys and the Randy Ortons and all these modern day people, then what John Cena is today and what he's been for the last 25 years, that's what Hulk Hogan was in the 80s, in the 90s, and even before the 80s. Because before the WWE became the WWE, when it was the WWF, Hulk Hogan was like one of the first characters, if not the first character, to be a babyface. You got commercials of him, eat your vitamins and all that stuff, telling kids to drink their milk and be strong, be brave, and things of that nature. So that's why I say it's just another version of what John Cena is doing now with kids when you see him with the Make a Wish Foundation, or how you got a love hate relationship with him when he turned heel. It was the same way with Hulk Hogan when he joined the WCW and joined the NWO with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. People loved it. Some people hated it because it was good for TV, but his babyface character had been, just put in the limelight for so long. It was just like, what? But what about the kids? And like Bernie Mac said, fuck them kids.
You know,
Wrestling, wrestling is one of them things where it's not like football, it's not like basketball, it's like not like no other sport. You get acting, you get soap opera, you get sports, you get all this stuff under one light in one night, and it's a beautiful thing, man. And being a fan most of my life, my granddad when I was young, even though I can't just really remember it like that because my granddad died when I was 10, but he used to attend wrestling events, and if I'm not mistaken, I think I might have been to one before with him. I just can't remember. I got pictures of Cody Rhodes with Cody Rhodes and KFC after WrestleMania 28. I'm in my car asleep, and I didn't even know he was inside. Somebody come back out, man. Cody Rhodes in the with his wife. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. They were like, I'm dead serious. I go in there, and lo and behold, he's standing at the counter. And this is before the Stardust. This is before all that. I think he was kind of, if I'm not mistaken, back then he may have been running with this legacy thing with Randy Orton. I could be wrong on that, so but fact check me on that. But yeah, man. Wrestling is just one of them things where if you love it, you love it. If you hate it, then who cares? Because to be a part of that world, it's designed to be different. Like I said, it's not like any other sport you're gonna watch. Everybody like to say that it's fake. Everybody is choreography. That's how I look at it. All these things that they rehearse, it's entertainment. But
Point blank
anyway,
period.
back to Hulk Hogan. Just he's in the last 10 years, of his. I feel like his career, or just the last 10 years of his life. I say it like that. He kind of don't get good responses when he show up to WWE. Let's just say it like that. When he come back, most of the time, he booed and he's kind of accepted in a way where people like are just don't rock with you like that because he got caught in some racist things a couple years ago where he made some racial slurs about I think his daughter's husband at the time or something like that. So ever since then, people just hadn't been rocking with him like that because he's known to be a racist. And he's kind of known to be a scumbag behind stage. I mean, backstage behind the curtain with other wrestlers. When Undertaker first made his debut, one of his matches was with Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan promised to, put him over in his match, and they went over everything. They rehearsed everything, and he said, Hulk told him, just make sure you don't hurt me. Undertaker gave him his words, I'm professional at what I do. I done practice this stuff. You good. You in good hands. Lo and behold, they get in the match, and Undertaker goes for his tombstone, and out of nowhere, long story short, Hulk Hogan fake an injury that you find out when you go back and watch the film that the injury that he tried to put on the Undertaker, saying that this is what happened to him, this is what he did to me. It was nowhere close to even a way of that happening because his head didn't even touch the mat at all. He tried to say that he came down on his neck when the Undertaker tombstone, but when Undertaker played it back, it, his neck didn't even hit the ground at all. It didn't even hit the canvas at all. But yeah, sad day, man. Rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. Like I say, you're gonna see people talk about this all day for probably like the next couple days. Pretty sure it's gonna be something done on Monday Night Raw in his honor and his remembrance. And I feel like minus the racial stuff or just how you felt about him personally, you can't take away from his legacy in the World Wrestling Federation. I'm gonna say the World Wrestling Federation because that's what it was before it was WWE. Like I said before, all these characters that you got now, babyface, heel, kayfabe, John Cena, Hulk Hogan was that guy. And Hulk Hogan, I think, still to this day, some people will argue that he still is the greatest of all time. Now you see John Cena about to retire, and I feel like in the era that I came up in, I'm a '90s baby, so I know a little about the Attitude Era. I know enough about the Attitude Era to argue anybody about any wrestler. But I'm more, I feel like, a product of the Ruthless Aggression era in the 2000s because that's what I can really remember the most. John Cena is really my GOAT in the era that I came up in. So seeing him retire, and you automatically, to me, is like, it's Hulk Hogan, now it's John Cena. And it's like, who's going to be the next face like this? Because that position, that role that Hulk played in the 80s and the 90s and what John Cena was to the 2000s and up until this point right here, they mirror like literally the same people. And they serve the same purpose in this company, man. And I'm just glad that, John Cena is able to retire on his own terms the way that he wants to, and he's able to get his flowers. It's sad that, Hulk Hogan didn't get a chance to make it to the rest of the year to just see how people would put this into perspective, knowing just, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people look at this the way that I look at it when it comes to comparing Hulk Hogan to John Cena. You got Hulk Hogan, then you got John Cena. He's the greatest, then he's the next, But yeah, TMZ released the 911 call, and was even more crazy. You had bloggers, like real deal bloggers, like real deal wrestling fans. I'm not talking about people who just sit back like me and content creators, but these people are real journalists. You had some guy the other day who did a video, and he was like, he's been hearing that Hulk Hogan has pretty much been in a vegetative state for like 2 weeks now. Something happened in his surgery 2 months ago that nobody really spoke on, where he had like a neck and spine surgery, and during this surgery, his vocal cord was damaged because something was moved wrong, like with his esophagus or something like that. But whatever it was, he wasn't able to breathe on his own. This guy said that from what he knew, from what sources was telling him, without this breathing machine, he would have, been gone. That this breathing machine was the only thing keeping him alive. So that's sad, man. And I feel like the family just was, trying to save face to keep hope. So you can't be mad at them and you can't fault them. People like to always, when these things happen, just, why was the family lying and all this stuff like that? Like, come on, man. Like, you expect somebody to just be able to have the gut dealing with tragic situation like that and stuck between watching a person suffer and pulling the cord. You think they got enough courage to let the world know what's going on? No, they gonna stay in good faith. Everything that come out of their mouth is gonna be positive, because to speak it to the public is like an early prediction in my mind. And for what it's worth, that's why I feel like even too, just saying that, the dude that put it out, just saying what he was hearing from sources that he was already gone. I feel like sometimes and I'm not gonna get on this and go down no deep hole on it, but we gotta start just sitting back on certain stuff, because we get too carried away with wanting to really break a story in tragic moments. We be sitting back really waiting for things to happen so we can break something. So you have one side of you that's in good faith, but then on this side, you kind of really I'm not gonna say you're hoping, but it's like, if it do happen, then it's gonna make for good content. I feel like every content creator, especially if you got a huge following, at some point, it's a part of you that think like that, but you're not gonna admit it, because it sounds messed up to say that out loud. But when it comes to just death and murder and just tragedies and stuff like that, I feel like people kind of may be not wanting this stuff to happen, but it's this weird infatuation that, if I'm saying that right, when it comes to these type of stories, where what if a person is doing good and it's good hope, don't always lead with thinking that it's gonna be a bad outcome. It's like we pray for the best, but we hope for the worst for content reasons. So I think sometimes just being quiet on things and not jinxing the situation, speaking so soon, they want to break that tragedy and break that messed up story, will save a lot of things from happening. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man. If you stay to the end, hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment down below, man. Rest in peace to Hulk Hogan, and rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne, man. Y'all be easy.